In 1998, the Champs-Élysées in Paris hosted scenes not witnessed since the end of the Second World War. France had won the World Cup and in doing so united the nation. 2 years later, they became European champions. The Rainbow Warriors were football's dominant force.
All the French were together. It was a great event. The response from people is still one of great strength. It's as if it happened yesterday.
Every country constructs itself with symbols, and that victory was the strongest of symbols.
Everyone you meet remembers where they were on the 12th of July.
In November 1993 at the Parc des Princes in Paris, with practically the last kick of the game, Bulgaria's Valery Kostadinov denied France a place at the 1994 World Cup. It was the second time in succession they'd failed to qualify. French football required a different approach.
There were certain choices made by the manager not to select players like Eric Cantona and David Ginola anymore, and it allowed more space for the young players.
In 1995, we had a new group of players. All of the players had played together since 1995. And then in 1996, we played the Euros together in England. So we were the same generation.
Although he remained as technical director, Gérard Houllier was replaced by Aimé Jacquet as head coach. Jacquet led the team to the semi-finals of the 1996 European Championship.
Being knocked out still hurts because we lost on penalties. But the squad was developing in comparison to 1994, when we didn't qualify for the World Cup. For most of us, this was our first major tournament.
60 years on from the previous occasion, France was selected to host the World Cup, a competition devised by a Frenchman and then head of FIFA, Jules Rimet. In the time since, France had never reached the final, but that was about to change.
We had a few players who left to play in Italy. For example, I went from Monaco to play my football in Parma. In France, I would say that the team wasn't seen as that great, but I must admit that when I talked to Italian managers and to Italian players, they saw the French team as one of the favourites to win the tournament.
The public perception of the team, however, was mixed. This was an era of social and political instability, and the far right wasted no time in criticising the racial diversity of the squad.
That never really affected the team. The variety of cultures and origins in the French team was a source of richness. There were never any such problems between the players, and these unintelligent comments coming from outside the camp never caused any disruption.
The negative sentiment surrounding Jacquet was a distraction.
He had won a lot of trophies, with an exceptional Bordeaux team, everyone of importance in French football. Michel Platini, Michel Hidalgo, Guy Roux said that he was a great coach. In spite of this, some team journalists visibly tried to get him replaced by someone else for the World Cup. So all of this really tarnished the build-up to the World Cup.
The players themselves, however, remained focused. A strong back four and solid midfield allowed Zinedine Zidane creative freedom. The team was ready.
A great opportunity to play a World Cup at home. It's a dream of all players.
I was 18, I think, maybe 19. And I found myself alongside these exceptional players. There was Zidane, Deschamps, Marcel Desailly, Laurent Blanc and Barthez.
The first group match took place in the football-loving city of Marseille. Again, generation, the Marseille-born Zinedine Zidane.
A genius, but every team that wins a competition has a standout player. He couldn't do it all alone, but he is in that bracket.
He was exceptional, and he saw things faster and better than others on the pitch.
As the game came close to finishing, their goalkeeper became bigger and better. And so I said, I hope we don't go to penalties. I remember telling Laurent Blanc, stop going up, stay here, we shouldn't take risks. And all of a sudden, we score the winning goal, and I see that it was Laurent Blanc. And I remember thinking, what was he doing?
Zidane was at Juventus, a big club at the time, with Deschamps. I was at AC Milan, and Djorkaeff was at Inter. So we were all at big clubs. It was quite a tactical match. It was a match in which the Italians had some huge individuals: Del Piero, Vieri, Roberto Baggio.
The two great defences cancelled each other out.
I thought twice about taking a penalty. I really didn't want to, because if I had done, we would have gone home for sure.
I argued with Marcel Desailly, because if it went to sudden death, we would have needed to find a sixth taker, and there weren't many options. It was between Marcel, who was fresher, and myself, who didn't want to take one. But he said, you're the captain. Semi-final in France, and we were playing Croatia. Who could possibly believe that it would be such a struggle?
We lost in 1996 against the Czechs at the European Championships. So we were scared of not going through and failing at the semi-final stage again. The first half of the match wasn't a great performance. I remember our coach, Aimé Jacquet, woke us up. He said, if you continue like this, don't worry, you'll lose. The ball going one way, and it went the other. So the goalkeeper messed up as well. He went with his logic on going one way, and then the ball went the other.
A top-level athlete, a central defender able to play on either flank, a force of nature.
A lot of people are convinced I was going after revenge, because I was covering Souquet when he scored his goal against us. But when we get back on the field to play the second half of the match, I ran into Mario Stanic, a teammate at Parma, and he said, this game is ours. So when Souquet scored, that came back into my head.
It
was a source of motivation for us, because we didn't know what was happening. We said to ourselves, Ronaldo isn't on the team sheet. Are they having us on? But as soon as we saw him, we were up for it again. It made us more aggressive, in a positive way.
When I was a kid, and we played the World Cup final, it was Brazil. I was playing for Brazil. I was Brazilian. And then approaching the stadium in Saint-Denis and seeing thousands of people, we knew the Brazilians would be scared. And we were more than just 11. Brazil were not going to be able to beat a whole country. It wasn't possible. The manager had said, generally, when it comes to dead ball situations, the Brazilians are there in numbers, but they don't defend. and that we should exploit that. Is it the World Cup where Platini, Beckenbauer and Kempes played? This is crazy. What's going on? Players kissing one another, running around. I took a French flag and went to some friends in the stadium. Knew it was impossible to lose.
The image of Diego Maradona with the World Cup, you see him kissing the trophy and you say, I could never do that. And if I did that, it would be extraordinary.
In the World Cup in France.
The day after, when there were 1 million people on the Champs-Élysées, we were on this imperial bus with guards standing shoulder to shoulder, either side of the bus, to help us move up the street.
We didn't exactly feel calm, but it was all part of making the people happy. Such moments bring a great deal of emotion.